Hi, I'm Ella, and welcome to another Dice Tower preview. Today, I will be talking about Dead by Daylight, the board game. There will be 4 survivors and 1 killer, and all of you are playing the deadliest game of hide and seek. Dead by Daylight is published by Level 99 Games and designed by Brad Talton Jr. This is a game of light complexity for 3 to 5 players that plays in around 45 minutes. The game that you see on the table today is a factory prototype, and the final components in the game will look better than what you are seeing right now. Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical game. This means that the survivors are playing a different game from the killer. The survivor's aim is to run around the labyrinth to find 4 generators and power them up to use the exit door to escape. The killer is going to be running around the labyrinth too, but instead of generators, they're trying to find the survivors, wound them, and slam them on hooks. Their aim is to generate progress on the sacrifice track to awaken the entity that devours all of them. In the game, survivors are each picking a different character, and each character has their own special abilities that will help them avoid the sacrificial hooks and escape. There's Claudette, the dedicated healer, with 2 perks that are used for healing and 1 for support, which makes you good at helping allies and keeping them alive. Ace lets you find out what the killer is going to do. Dwight is a dedicated support character who helps other players be better at what they do. For example, he can give extra turns and moves. Nia is all about mobility. She can move really quickly and through some lock walls that others cannot go through. Jake is an outdoor survivalist, so he's very resilient because he can ignore failure. There's Meg, a survival character, so she's good at running away from the killer. And then we have Feng, who focuses her powers on pallets that can disrupt the moves of the killer. Now let's get to the killers. All the original killers in the original video game are in the board game. There are some killers that are on easy mode, like the hillbilly, the doctor, and the nurse, and some are on hard mode, like the hag, the wraith, and the trapper. If you look at this board, which is the labyrinth, there are different places connected by the pathways. The symbols between these places show icons that match cards that survivors have in their hands. These cards help you plan your movement around the board. For example, if you want to move from the mine depths to the mine entrance, you have to use this card. Now, some spaces are not that easy to move through because there will be walls in the way. Survivors all have 1 copy of each of these cards. The killer will have the same cards but have an extra card called Wait, which lets them wait in a space. The survivors use these cards to go around and find stuff called props that will help them survive and power up the generators, while the killer is trying to find them to hang them on a hook as a form of sacrifice to the entity. Progress for the survivors is tracked here. Once they place 4 generator tokens, they win, while the killer is tracking their sacrifice progress on this track. And once they place 8 hook tokens, they win. Now, this is essentially a game of hide and seek. We all know where everybody is at the start of the game, that each player is going to play their moves. The survivors will play 1 card each, and the killer 2, but all face down. The survivors will each reveal their cards and do a turn, and then the killer does their turn. So you choose your cards in advance of moving. So this is about anticipating where your opponent could go on the next turn. The survivors can talk to each other and tell each other where they are going, but the killer can hear too, so be careful what you reveal. Now, what are the survivors looking for? They're looking for props. When they enter a space, they get to turn over a prop. The yellow props are objective props. There are the generators and the exit gate. The blue props help you survive. They are chests that give you items and lockers to hide in. Green is altruism props. They help the team survive as a whole. Pallets that block the killer, and crows, which help you take an extra turn. Red are objective props of the killer. They use the hook and the hex totem against the survivors. But this is a way for you to get blood points. You cleanse the hex totem to get them. Blood points are important because they let you use your perks or special abilities. Now, in some interactions, you have to perform skill checks, which means rolling these dice and seeing if you're successful. Skill checks are used when interacting with generators. On a success, you add 1 progress, and with great success, you add 2 progress instead. With 3 progress, a generator is completed and move up the generator track on the board. And that was an overview of Dead by Daylight, the board game. Please click on the link below to check out this game. If you're a fan of the video game, this is a good board game implementation because it feels and looks like the video game. And if you're new to the game altogether, this is a good game to whip out during game night as it's very thematic, plus it's easy to teach and learn. Again, I'm Ella. See you next time.